Hello my friends, SAmaryllis here to play more Cinders. We're on the second day of freedom from Carmosa, and I believe we do have to decide where to go on our second day to town. And we just witnessed something pretty bad from Madame Guide with the townsfolk. It looks like she really seems like she wants to move on from this place, even with Perrault's trying to calming her down. So choices. Watch out, Cinders, or you may get used to it. I have to decide if I want to go to the tavern or go see Tobias. I really want to talk to Perrault because I like him, but I'm almost wondering if I should talk with Tobias to see if I can weasel any more information out from him about what Carmosa's trying to do, or if he has a second opinion about the will that Perrault mentioned. But I really want to learn more about Perrault. This is like the heart and the mind battling right now. It's like my heart wants to go see Perrault, but my mind is like, to get a good ending to this story, it's probably a better idea to go see Tobias. At the same time, I don't want to be, I hope I'm not being too wishy-washy and like spreading out any of my story points too thin, because what if like, because I couldn't decide what I wanted to do, I end up with just like a neutral ending. Games like these are about following your heart. I'm going to the tavern. We'll see if I regret this. Tobias is not going anywhere, and I'm starving. Sorry, friend, but this girl has her priorities straight. I don't have any money, though. How am I going to buy food at the tavern? Maybe someone will treat me. I thought the captain would be here. He said he was heading to the inn. I do have to admit I was hoping to talk to him. Yeah, I was getting greedy. Cheers! The drinks are... I don't have enough dough, so they're not on me, mates. So sorry. But this toast goes to you all. May you live long and prosper. Okay, I didn't expect to see the shady character here, but very interesting. Why, hello there! How about me? Am I included on the toast? Oh, not you again. Really now, you come to my house with some important business, and then when I politely ask you about it, you storm out. And now all I get is, not you again? Really, quite a gentleman you are. Pardon, missy, never was too keen on the noble manners. Oh, but I am so glad to see you. I need to ask you a couple questions, and here you are, ready and willing to answer to the fullest extent. You are willing to answer, aren't you? Oi, you look quite intent, birdie, and a wee bit on the scary side, too. What questions do you have in mind? 2 days ago, you came to our home to talk with Carmosa. I want to know what it was about. Oh, it was just some gossip I've heard. Nothing of importance, really. Well, I know because I had the all-seeing eye in this game. At least partially all-seeing. Mostly seeing eye. Oh, sure. Carmosa is well known to pay for unimportant and trivial information. She is a wee bit queer. Weird, even. She's intent on having loads of information, that one. Supposed to give her an advantage or some... And she's generous as a saint with her gold when it comes to it. And you know that how? Because you seem awfully familiar with Carmosa's taste in information. Hey, I don't need to talk to you at all. You do realize that, missy? Just watch me get up and leave all fast and discreet like the king's favorite wench and the queen. You sure you want to go there, my good fellow? Ah, Perrault is here. Good evening, Captain. I was just trying to explain to this pretty bird. The truth, as usual, I'm sure. Don't disturb yourself, then. We're all ears. Of course. I've told this young lady everything, and now I just want to leave peacefully. I have heard your conversation, and it did not seem the lady was quite satisfied with your answers. So be a gentleman and reveal what she wants to know. Now. Thanks, Perrault. Thank you, Captain. It is my duty, Cinders, and a pleasure to help. I know this man is usually up to no good. I'm going to keep an eye on him, and he better not hide information from you, or else. It's not your duty, Perrault, but I really appreciate it. So, what piece of information did you sell to Carmosa? Or would you rather end up in prison? Oh, he's gonna have to lie, because if he tells Cinders what he eavesdropped from the prince and Perrault, then he's gonna get in really big trouble. That ain't fair. You can't do that. He can't. And old women are always trouble, especially young lassies with curiosity up the roof, and hell take me, friends in the guard, oh pitiful me. Stop rambling and answer the lady, please. Fine, fine, love, I'll tell you what you want to know. Happy now, but not in front of someone paying for the powers that be. If you want to know what happened, follow me. I don't think that's a good idea. And I don't think speaking to you both is a good idea. I'm glad we agree. Goodbye. Where do you think you're going? Captain, I'll be fine. I just need to hear what this curious man has to say. Don't worry, he's not stupid enough to hurt me. Is he? I'm sure he isn't, especially now that he knows that if he causes any harm to you, or even a frown on your face, you will suffer as no one has ever suffered before. Shall we go talk outside? Sure, Bertie, and you do not have to worry, mate. I will guard her as if she was a treasure. Not the ones I stole and sold, of course, but a different one to be guarded, as I would guard my own treasure if I had one. Jeez, Perrault, calm down, buddy. Alright, let's stop here and talk. Not exactly a hiding place, middle of town, eh, love? Sure could use some more privacy. I'm not going to give you a chance to escape now, and don't try anything stupid. The captain's right on the other side of the street. Remember that. Fine, you little devil. I'll tell you what I knew. Just don't yell if I can't remember all the details. I've short memory. You've heard my question already. What was the message you brought to Carmosa? A dashing young gentleman like yourself should have no trouble recalling the last few days. Blazing hell, lassie, you and your adder's tongue. I remember. So I was out in the woods, resting me head on the ground, enjoying the peace and quiet that only nature can bring. Calm shimmer of the lake, away from the wickedness. Don't digress. Of the city, sleeping like a brat I was. Do you often sleep outdoors? Why were you sleeping by the lake? No, that's a mighty good question, innit, love? Can't say I know the answer, though. Just woke up there. Old magical place, the pond in the woods. Me auntie used to tell me stories of... Get back to the topic, will you? But I'm on it! I woke up and I heard voices. Thought it was just me auntie's stories of the fair folk, you know. Made of light and wisp, prettier than the finest ladies they are. But they were no wisps. And what happened then? I hid. What else? This head's still upon this neck because it knows when it's time to jump in the bushes. You know what I mean. Who were those people? An excellent question, Bertie. Me gut tells me you love this. It was the noble Captain Perrault, and he was talking to... the prince? The prince was talking with Perrault in the woods? Sounds a bit strange, doesn't it? What were they talking about? Oh, some posh problems of the rich folk. Too much free time's bad for the head. Our future His Royal Highness kept on whining about wenches of all things. How they're all empty-headed or boring to talk to. The prince was discussing women? That he was. Very unkingly of him, if you ask me. And foolish, too. Who cares if the bird's dumb or dull? That's not what I want from me wenches. Yes, wonderful. Now back to the subject, please. What did they speak of? The captain said something about rules, but I didn't hear that part with my head still spinning and the water shivered so loud. Don't know what they meant, but the prince was mighty happy and said something about the bull, the grand bull. I can't believe Carmosa would pay him for that kind of story. He either forgot or he's keeping it from us. One of the two. Whatever. It doesn't matter because I already know the full story of it anyway. He got some idea in that ruly empty head of his. I heard it's covered in crowns. Very bad for the head. Anyway, there was a new idea that he liked. The grand ball. It doesn't sound familiar. That's the excuse they made up so that the kings and princes can pick their wenches like vegetables in the market. Only regular folk don't crown the cucumbers they bought as queens, at least not as often. So, it's a tradition. Yeah, that they always use that fancy name if something doesn't make any sense anymore. So what was the prince's new idea? It was about masks, making all the lasses wear 'em. You mean a masked ball? A masquerade? I didn't know the rich birds are so horrid. I don't think it's because of that. Did he say why the masks are so important to him? It had something to do with the elders, the families. Lots of lords and ladies waiting to trade their daughters and only one prince. Too much competition's bad for business and tempos. So, he's trying to dodge accusations of being biased. Clever. I knew that. Don't know what's wrong with seeing a nice face, though. And what if the birds got a pimple right between her eyes? Won't notice nothing with masks and such, unless he wants to ogle their curves. Ooh, a bit on the nasty side, nobles. Me auntie told me stories, gossip really about the shenanigans going on between them the nobles in the palace. Stuff that'd make a confessor blush. Alright, I get the picture. A masked ball, you said. It makes a lot of sense, actually. The prince can pretend he's choosing his bride by judging her more subtle qualities, and there's no way of any of the houses accusing him of favoring one over the other. Who knows, maybe he isn't really pretending. Perhaps having a choice is what he really wants. Divdishly clever, love. Glad you got the smarts to see through all that. Saved me time having to explain it to y'all. I'm sure you knew all about it. Shady character. Bowl full of noble birds, and they all have a chance, no matter how pimply or horrid. Makes me think of Carmosa and her pretty lassies. No, not you. The other winches. I mean, sisters. Your lovely sisters. Figured the old lady would pay with kingly coin for rumor like that. So there's to it. You satisfied, love? My dear friend, this isn't even half of the story I wanted to hear. You better get to the more juicy stuff right away. It's all there is to it. I swear to my auntie's pimples. He has a fixation on pimples, man. Appeal to his morals, focus on connection with Carmosa, threaten him. I'm not going to threaten him. I have nothing to threaten him. Well, I guess I have the captain to threaten him, but do I really want to do that? I don't think he has morals, so I'm not going to try and appeal to them. Focus on connection with Carmosa. I'm going to focus on Carmosa. It's all fine and beautiful what you've told me, but there's so many things missing, my friend. Like, why is it so important for Carmosa that the ball will be a masquerade? But what puzzles me even more is how come you knew it'd be interesting for her in the first place. You would have to know her pretty well to figure that. This has something to do with your past, doesn't it? You've been working for her for quite some time, haven't you? Fine, there's one more thing. A wee detail. Really nothing. Really nothing. I knew this wormer would be worth a lot to the lady, you know. I know her and know what she's like. So you did work for her before. What did you do? I might have given her a hand earlier with the ball, love, so she could get in. How? The goose and her ducklings weren't exactly invited. The lady asked me to help them. Help them how? Oh, let's just say it required a bit of quality craftsmanship. Oh, did Tobias do a forgery of an invitation? But he didn't actually hear about the ball until after he delivered whatever from Tobias, or picked up, or so. I feel like it's another thing. I feel like it's not the same thing that Tobias paid him for. You mean you forged invitations for them? Me? Sure I didn't. Me talents knowing folks with talents of their own. Got them invitations from a friend. Reckon the old lady's a bit dim if she thought nobody noticed how she got in with fake papers. But hey, who is me humble person to doubt a noble lady and her ways of spending money? And that's how you learned how important the ball was for her. So when you heard about the masquerade, you told her about that as well. Oh, okay, so the new information he learned wasn't that there was a ball. He already knew there was a ball happening. The thing he didn't know was that it would be a masquerade. So kind of interesting that Carmosa would try to get invitations to the ball in the first place, even without a masquerade. So I do think he delivered forged invitations, and Tobias had a hand in that. As you said, she could get into the ball with fake papers, but she would risk getting recognized. Not so much if it's a masked ball, and that's why this information was worth so much to her. I see. It's only a wee job and you. Only natural this bloke forgot all about it, eh? So this means that she could actually be in deep trouble. Incredible. Carmosa ordered a forgery. This could be my chance. Oi, lassie, you even listening? Can I go now? A man can handle only so many stressful events in one day, you realize. This could be my leverage. What? Oh, yes, you can do what you wish. You already helped me a lot. Oh, Carmosa, your secrets really are your greatest weakness. Interesting. So, all in all, he's really good at evading uncomfortable questions. I have to give him that. Is she gonna tell Perrault that he overheard her? Or overheard him? So he managed to procure forged invitations of good enough a quality to fool the guards at the royal castle? This is surprising. Is it? I've assumed he simply knows the right people, like he said. Oh, of that I am sure, especially now. But he never gave me any reason to think about him as anything more than just a vagabond, crook. An altogether shady character. I would agree with that. Perhaps there's more to him than just that ridiculous hat. I'll tell my men to look into that. Shouldn't you be looking into Carmosa's case instead? She is involved in forgery, after all, and her motives remain unclear. I don't want to get Sophia and Gloria in trouble. Like, this is kind of their chance. And as for the man's hat, I think it looks adorable, all things considered. It would seem that when it comes to policing the town and hats, we don't see eye to eye. I cannot start an inquiry targeting noble family on the basis of hearsay. For all we know, we can't trust that man's testimony. And if it is true, what then? Then you'd need to follow the letter of the law and file an official accusation, which would include proof of some sort. I don't have proof. Since you're of noble blood yourself, your word would weigh enough against hers. It would be regarded as a noble's dispute and given a priority in the court. Swift justice only for the highborn. Would she be imprisoned? Forgery is not a very serious offense, and again, she is of noble blood, so it would be considered of even less significance. However, depending on the strength of the proof, she would be arrested and put into prison for some time, yes. I doubt the sentence would be anything more than symbolic. Too severe a punishment would surely cause an uproar among the houses, but symbolic might be just enough to destroy her reputation. Indeed, hypocrisy is a value among the old houses if there is something they value more than their freedom to misbehave. It is the freedom to punish one of their own for doing it badly. I don't like Carmosa, but I also don't want to ruin her life. Like, she's worked very hard to get where she is, even if she is horrible to her daughters. I don't know. Lady Carmosa's reputation would die during her first night behind bars, and it would probably never recover. I see. And what of the house and my sisters? What would happen to them with their lady gone? I'd reckon that one of the sisters would have to take her place and become the head of the house, although Carmosa's infamy would surely cast a shadow over that girl as well. Cinders, listen to me. I think I know where this is going. You're obviously thinking of using this against your stepmother. Well, and what if I am? I admit that the thought has crossed my mind. Do you think it's a bad idea? If you're asking the captain of the royal guards, then no, I don't. As the prince's subject, you should report information like this to someone like me. Such is the letter of the law. However, law isn't everything, and you should also use your own reason to make your own decision. For example, consider the fact that your man might be lying. And also consider this. No matter what the crime, an accusation of a noble is always serious and can have serious consequences. Are you sure you want this for Carmosa? I know, it does sound serious. Her whole life would be basically ruined by this. I do need to think this over. Maybe I'll have a walk. It usually helps me to see things with clear mind. Anyway, thank you for listening to me, and thanks for your advice. Perrault is much more shrewd than I originally thought. It's astonishing what a simple walk can do to one's spirits. If I'm going to miss the freedom to do something, then above all else, it's going to be the freedom to wander around wherever I please. When I walk with no specific goal, no destination, I can just switch off and observe my thoughts jumping into the little drawers. With each step, I can feel my muscles relaxing. And strolling through the market has its moments too. I saw the most gorgeous shoes. Not that I can ever afford them. They were crazily expensive. I get that they were imported from the eastern lands, but at that price they should be made of diamonds and dragon skin. Who buys something like that? I mean, I know I would if I could, but that's beside the point, right? Forget about it. No reason to dwell on such things. I still haven't decided what to do with my newly gained knowledge. Yeah, it's interesting too that although Carmosa's house is considered nobility, they weren't invited to the ball at all. And it sounds like a lot of nobles are already trying to garner the prince's favor, so I'm surprised that Carmosa's house wasn't invited. Everything about this business screams that I should use it as leverage, but I don't know how. Not yet. At least it gives me some space, some secure distance from Carmosa, knowing that I know about one of her precious secrets. It's getting late. I should be heading back home. Time to say goodbye to freedom. Hello there, Cinders. I did not expect to see you around the town at this time. You're still wondering about what that man said, do you? Yes, I took a long walk, and while it helped clear my mind, I'm still not sure what to do. I can't say I know exactly how you feel, but my experience tells me you shouldn't push it. These things take time. I'm beginning to think the same. And what are you doing here, Captain? I was just about to begin my evening patrol. Although, with this kind of weather, you could compare it to going for a walk. Should I go home or should I go with them? I want to spend more time with Pearl. I'm going to ask to go with him. It might be too dangerous for me, though. I don't know. Sounds lovely indeed. Would you mind if I accompanied you? Hope it isn't too dangerous. Dangerous? Hardly. But are you sure? You said you've just spent the afternoon walking about and the patrol route is quite long. Don't worry about me. I'm stronger than I look. And she's been sleeping until noon for like 3 days in a row. Like, oh, she's gonna be in big trouble with Carmosa tomorrow. I just know it. Besides, this is my last day of freedom. I'd rather make it last as long as possible. The big red, Lady Carmosa is coming back home tomorrow. I see. Now I understand the long face. Very well then, you may come with me, but be warned, I will not change or shorten the route if you're tired. It may not be the most demanding duty there is for a soldier, but it is a duty still. Oh, don't worry, I can be very militant if there's a need for it. Some of my witty ripostes and well-aimed grimaces can be classified as weaponry. I had no idea you're such a menace. I can only hope that I won't end up arresting you for possession of lethal irony. And I am ashamed to say I have failed miserably at this attempt at being a guard. What do you mean? Is something wrong? My feet are killing me, and I thought I had a chance at this line of work. You have walked almost the entire route already, and it seemed a fine patrolling job to me. The town is safe, calm, nothing happened on your watch. Isn't that what matters? Does anything dangerous ever happen on these routes? Because if so, I must admit I am disappointed with our walk and its unfulfilled potential for adventure. Well, no, it's almost always uneventful. Then I really feel like I've accomplished something today. But if these patrols don't change anything, why do you do them? I did not say they change nothing, Cinders. Maybe it is because of them that the town is peaceful. Maybe something will happen and the town is going to need me to be there. Good point. Like that kidnapping the other day. It was good you were around. Yes, but whatever happens, or does not happen, these patrols are my duty, Cinders. Written generations ago to keep this town in order. So that is what I do. Does your duty make every choice for you? It even just dictates how you spend your evenings. One might think you have no clue what to do when duties are done. I did make one choice, to become a guard. I do accept my duties as they are a consequence of who I am. You don't seem to accept the concept of duty in general, though. It's fine. I can understand. From what you have told me about your house and its rules, you are bound to dislike your duties. Isn't that almost by definition? Duty is something you have to do, not want to do, not chosen. How can you like an obligation like that? That is how it is for you, as Carmosa took over your house and life. For me, it's different. I have chosen and accepted my duties, or maybe chosen to accept them. I see the purpose of my duties, and I'm glad I can contribute to it. And if I can have a pleasant walk every evening as a mean to uphold order in this town, Is it really that bad? When it pours or snows, the pleasure must be doubled. Okay, you've got me there. Though the town does look better when all the dirt and those clashing colors are covered by snow, or at least smudged by the rain in your eyes. So you honestly like protecting this sleepy, dirty town? I distinctly remember you saying that you miss the past, the times of battles. Where do your patrols fit into that? I do whatever is necessary. If the times demand I walk the town, that is what I will do. But yes, I do prefer the thrill of battle and times when heroism had its use. I can't figure you out, Captain. 1 minute you stop to show me a magnificent view of the evening mist over the lake that unfolds from the palace stairs. A minute later you admit to killing is more preferable to you than such an evening stroll. I do prefer battle, but I certainly did not say I preferred it over this evening stroll in particular. Well, thank you. So are you a warrior or a poet? Or a killer poet, maybe? Oh, I would be an awful poet, I assure you. In fact, you may be right. My poetry would probably kill. So you're not even going to try? Oh, come on. Roses are red, violets are blue. Ugh, if you break the law, then I'll kill you. As you can see, not a poet. But then again, why do you think killing and poetry exclude each other? That's child's way of thinking. I've seen cruel crooks that wrote delicate poetry, and not all warriors are mindless brutes. You're right, I'm sorry. That's okay. But please understand, I do not enjoy killing. What makes me feel good is the sense of proficiency at something, of being useful. I can see the value of freedom, but the notion of having a purpose is what works for me and makes me happy. Shoot, I just remembered Gloria's probably going to be mad that I come back so late. Whatever. It's nice to see someone content with where they are and what they do. Maybe the fact that I enjoy breaking the rules is caused by the fact that I myself am not... but I broke a rule by inviting you to go on a patrol with me, and I did enjoy it very much. Civilians not supposed to go with you on patrol? I'm glad. And if I offended you by questioning your way of life, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be rude or nosy. By no means. There aren't many people I can talk to about such things. And how can you think things through if you don't let them be questioned? So thank you. I was a bit skeptical beforehand about patrolling together. Now I regret we can't do that more often. Friendly, seductive, uninterested. Oh, well, I'm not going to be uninterested. I know this is a visual novel, and like basically the whole goal is for romance to happen, but I've never been super good with romance. But if there is one person I would end up with, I would rather it be Perrault than anyone else at this point. How should I act? If I'm seductive, will it be too much? Oh, I don't know. Is it too early for that? I know my time is limited, but like I also don't want to like push him away because I'm seductive too early in the timeline or in our friendship, you know? Shoot, I don't know. Friendly or seductive? I'll be friendly. I'm glad, and I might not be the master of my own time when Carmosa's around, but you are, at least when your duties allow it. We might not be able to stroll like this anytime soon, but if you'd like to talk, you are welcome to drop by anytime. Carmosa is bad, but I don't think she is rude enough to ask you to leave, nor does she have the nerve, so if you like, do come and visit. That's really nice of you, and I might just do that. I find talking to you very interesting and refreshing. I hope you won't mind me saying this. You are much more mature than your age should permit. You keep telling me about how I have a children's way of thinking. Come on. Thank you. On a different note, I've noticed something today. When you and Madame Guide spoke earlier, you seemed quite familiar with each other. I owe her my life. Such an experience does bring people closer and creates a bond. Maybe for life, even. Really? What happened? It sounds like there's an interesting story behind it. I was just doing my duty. I led a small group against brigands terrorizing the forest, got separated while chasing their escaping leader. I got him eventually, but he managed to wound me. I lost consciousness there, in the middle of nowhere. Madame Guide was out searching for herbs when she found me. You could have bled to death. Yes, but Madame Guide took me to her hideout and nursed me back to health, and I will always be grateful for that. Sounds almost like a fairy tale. All that is missing is a romance and a they lived happily ever after ending. Well, at least part of that did happen, but it was no fairy tale, so we did not live happily ever after. This was a real story of bloodstains and pain, and... Wait, you were actually with Madame Guide? The wise and mysterious one, romantically involved with the ominous witch of the woods? I'm sorry if I have spoiled the story and the characters for you, but I'm not a dark and brooding knight. Madame Guide is not an unearthly being. We were just human. I know. I'm sorry for stereotyping again. It's just so hard to imagine Madame Guide in love. I don't think it was love. We were both lonely, and fate brought us together. Companionship might be a better word for it. I'm sorry if that offends you. No, I guess I've never thought about Madame Guide as of someone that could be lonely, or with any other human weakness for that matter. She appears to be so strong. She is strong, and a good woman, so it would be a shame to see the prejudice win and drive her away from yet another town. But what you said surprises me, really. Seeing just one side of her seems unfair as well. Plus, the two of you seem so alike in so many ways. Because you can never miss while comparing a woman to your former lover. I'm sorry, I told you I am no poet. Don't mention it. I actually do admire Madame Guide quite a bit, and I guess now I can see her in a different light. Both of you. A bit less mystery, a little more reality. That is just the way it is. I'm sorry. You're right, and I'm the one who is sorry. I did not mean to offend you. You didn't. Now if you'll excuse me, I have to go to the palace. The reporting duties call. Thank you for accompanying me. You are one of the most interesting and beautiful girls I have ever met. Can we see each other again and talk? Yeah, of course. We already said that he can come over to my house. Carmosa's house, it's not mine. Thank you. I have enjoyed this walk immensely, too. I'll try to arrange it so that we can meet again, as difficult as it may prove. Oh, I believe you can accomplish anything if you want to. Thanks for the confidence. I look forward to meeting you again, then. Anyhow, if you decide to do something about what that vagabond said today, or even if you just want to discuss your options further, do come and find me. Thank you very much, Captain. I will. I really need to go. Goodbye, Cinders. Have a nice night. You too, Captain. Good night. Going straight home. No stopping in the forest. Oh, I am so late. I hope Gloria is not going to be really mad. Back to the same old. This almost feels like coming back to prison and out of my own will. After 2 such wonderful days of freedom, it's depressing to know I need to go back to my ordinary life. There, out in the real world, I can meet amazing people, have actual friends. Here, I'm trapped between Carmosa's plots and her poor daughter's bitterness. Sometimes I wonder, what if I were to vanish in the woods? Would anyone notice or care? Maybe that's the answer? Getting lost in the wilderness, befriending an uncivilized but noble tribe of rather short miners, becoming their princess, and spending the rest of my days being adored, praised, and... get a grip on yourself, Cinders. At least I learned some really interesting things today. Interesting and possibly dangerous for Carmosa. Maybe it's going to be my wild card in this game. Sometimes I wonder if all families are like mine. Broken, conflicted, and utterly unpleasant, or is it just a nobility thing? My feet are begging for mercy. I must have walked 12 miles today. Those were really good shoes I saw at the market, and pretty too. I sure could use new shoes like that. These old horrors are just a few steps away from falling apart, and they blister my heels and ankles. Still, it was worth the effort. The good captain, bless his honorable heart, seems genuinely interested in my humble person. And he seems like an interesting gentleman, too. Looks really dashing in all those belts, I think. Besides, I always fancied scars and brooding disposition in a man. Oh, No sisters to berate me today. Meanwhile, at the palace... You have summoned me, my prince? That I did. You came back a bit late tonight. Was there any trouble on your route? Not at all, my prince. Something has caught my attention. You must be wondering why I wanted to see you at this hour. Surely you have guessed it must be about something important. I will have to ask you to make an important decision, and I will not be expecting you to give me your answer right away. My lord? Let me explain, Perrault. As you know, we live in a time of transition, and my father's death changed many things. Being so close to our family, you are aware that the old king spent most of his days trying to compromise between extremes, a balance between order and freedom. With little success, despite his best wishes, all his life he remained an autocrat. That is why it has been my wish, my vision, to change the kingdom in such a way as to eliminate the need to compromise between freedom and order altogether. In other words, Perrault, I want reforms, but I am sure you know this. I do, my prince. I have known you long enough to be able to learn about the qualities of your character. I want to give the people a constitution, Perrault. I don't want them to be subjects. I want them to be citizens. I see. This will not make you more popular among the nobles, sire. If that's even possible. You are not a king yet, my lord, and there's some unrest among the nobles. I wouldn't announce your plans just yet. They make you an easy target. Yes, they do. That's exactly why I need your protection. You already have it. You know I'd give my life serving the crown. I am your sword and shield, my lord. Yes, yes, my friend, I know that, but these are different kind of enemies I am going to face during my reign. I will be giving people more freedom, but that means taking away some of the old precious order. The nobles won't stand for it. They will want my head. They wouldn't dare. Of course not. That would give me a reason to ask for their heads. They will not do anything openly. Do you understand now what I speak of, Perrault? So you want me to spy for you? It is the new battlefield, Captain, the theater of war of our times, and the crown needs you to be our champion. Champion, but it isn't an honorable war, it's a war of lies. It is a war of discretion and intelligence, qualities I know you possess in abundance, not to mention loyalty. Forgive me, my lord, I don't want to come across as naive. I am simply not accustomed to all the subtleties of ruling. I'm surprised. What would you require of me in this new service? You would have to spend more time at the court, that much is certain. Keep your eyes and ears open, and, of course, socialize much more. You would have to trade those blades of yours for exquisite white gold cutlery, I'm afraid, and maybe do something about this outfit. All those belts. I see. That is not exactly... This isn't... You don't have to decide right away. Also, you do have a choice. I am not a tyrant, after all. Should you choose to distance yourself from this lovely mess I am planning for the realm, you can leave your current service with honor and retire. Your patrolling duty is merely ceremonial nowadays, and the guards have their officers. As it is, your position at the court is a matter of empty traditionalism, nothing more. You would send me away? To where? Oh, I am certain there is some picturesque and lucrative strip of the royal land left that I can make you count of. How about Middlehowl? Such a quaint little place, you deserve it. That's simple. This is very surprising, it's strange. It's a strange thing to learn that you are not needed. It was his lifelong dream so far. Rubbish, Perrault. The crown needs you. I need you. This is precisely why I'm asking you to make your own decision. If I am to rule this realm, I have to learn to make difficult choices, and this is my first. I am not ordering you to become the new Royal Master Spy. I am giving you a choice. Not only because I know that you wouldn't make a good agent serving me against your own will, but also because you are my friend, Perrault. If that is the case, I reckon I'd prefer to be just a subject. It will be enough, Captain. Let us not say things we will regret later. Very well, my lord. Will this be all, my prince? Yes, Captain. Give my proposal some thought. I would have your answer within the next few days. Now go. Poor Perrault. Okay, and with that, we're gonna stop for now. We got a lot more information. Plot really seems to be picking up, and I feel really bad for Perrault because everything he's talked about is how like it was his dream since like childhood and his duty to serve the crown, but like in this changing world, which he also knows about himself, not even just from the prince talking to him about it, but he knows that the world is changing and that he might not be needed anymore. Okay, so we're gonna stop here for now. This has been SAmaryllis playing Cinders. I hope you have a great day. Remember to be kind to yourself and to others. Bye-bye.